Hey Toolerinos, I've taken the Diehl Grinder apart as far as I'm going to. I have found inside there is cloth insulated wiring, and past experience tells me once you start bending that around, sometimes it breaks down and there's no putting it back together. So since I definitely want to use this grinder, I'm not going to disassemble it any further, try to rebuild it, entirely. The bearings appear to be in great working condition. I will try to lubricate them as best I can without disassembling it any farther. And we'll paint it, probably the same color that it appears to have been originally. And put it back in service. And so here I've got the grinder placed on its side. And I've got oil at the base of that shaft and on the inside going into the bearing down there. And I have run it a couple times and just trying to give the oil the chance it has to get into the bearing a little bit. And then after about a day or so like that, I'll flip it over and do it the other way as well. Alright, the Diehl Power Wirebrush is coming along finally. I got most of the paint off with paint stripper and Wirebrush and sandpaper. And this was the front plate. The original front, this was the front, and it's got a lot of pitting. So since it is symmetrical, I'm just going to flip it over and use the back. I filed these sharp edges off so that when it's in place there won't be a sharp edge running around to the front. And I also filed off these edges here so they're not so sharp. And the nameplate turned out really nice. So it turned out pretty nice. I went over it with superfine steel wool, trying to be careful around the color, but to get the corrosion off it took most of the underlying black off, but it did polish up all the raised surfaces to a nice shine, which made the underlying areas have a good contrast so you can read it. And I put a coating of polyurethane over it, and that seems to have made it nice and smooth and shiny. So that worked out pretty well. And I picked up a can of metallic blue Rust-Oleum from Habitat for Humanity for $2. It'll add a little pizzazz to the grinder, right? That's a fun word, pizzazz. Anyway, alright, well, next time you see it, hopefully it'll be all painted and back together and beautiful. Alright, it is sprayed. It looks pretty good. Hope I got enough paint on there. I don't see any runs yet, anyway. So hopefully I did good. It's been a while since I spray painted something. So, looks nice and shiny and sparkly. Pretty big improvement over how it looked before. Alright, it's almost back together. It's wired. Got the wire all cleaned up. Going through a rubber grommet back here. And wired to a nice new toggle switch. And see? It lives! It lives! So I just have to put the front plate on and screw these on, and then I can put the wire brushes on. And so the nameplate here, I polished it up a little bit with some super fine steel wool, and then I gave it a coat of fast drying polyurethane to keep it from corroding again, hopefully, as well as the little rivets. I just coated with the urethane and on the back to hopefully keep them from coming loose. And so that's ready to go on. I also urethaned the screws on the top and the screws that hold this plate on. And I'm using a genuine Klein screwdriver to do my electrical work. Alright.
Now that's what I call a restoration.
Yeah. Looking pretty good. I just need the wire brushes. Alright. I was thinking these screws were there for I couldn't remember why, and I just cleaned them and put them back in so there wouldn't be holes to let anything into the motor. But looking for the wire brushes, I found that's where the handle was mounted. So I have to restore that bit, or at least clean it and paint it. It's probably still going to be dented, but that just gives it character, right? So yeah, I have to take care of that handle. Alright, so I was thinking I need to wire brush this. Let's put one of them on and use it for the first time. Well, how about that? That was nice. My old wire brush, you know, it more or less got the job done, but this is on a whole new level compared to my old belt-driven one. Alright, coming into the home stretch. I spray painted the handle, and these parts here, I don't know what to call them, that hold the wire brushes on, I stepped it out by a little bit of a bushing. You know, here comes the, it's always nice to have stores, right, Reggie? I come across something I could use as a bushing, it goes in here, and then if I ever need one, huzzah, I've got it. Alright, Toolerinos, project complete. I don't get to say that too often, so this feels great. I've got a fine wire brush on this side, and a coarse on this side, and of course the plate looks very nice. The deal with the deal is that the deal is done. I like that. Here's the old guard, so you can see what it used to look like. It's a dull bluish color with rust and dirt, and this is what it looks like now. A substantial improvement, I must say. And these wire brushes make a ton of air. I guess those of you who have a real wire brush already know that, but this is the first time I've had a high-speed wire brush. I am, of course, wearing safety glasses, and just in case anyone's curious, I have a fine and coarse Porter Cable brand. They're made in China, but if they're made for Porter Cable, hopefully that means they're halfway decent. And I bought these at Tractor Supply. So there you have it. You'll probably be seeing this in future videos where I'm hopefully restoring lots of things, right? Lots of tools. Alright. Project complete.